All right, he began his career working on Late Night with David Letterman, and now, of course, has his own series on Fox for a while, and now breaking into motion pictures. Here's a new movie that he wrote and stars in. It's called Cabin Boy. It opens today. Here's Chris Elliott.
Regis,
how you doing?
How are you doing?
Fine.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Have you been with us on the show before? Or is this your first
in this
time?
lifetime.
Okay,
No.
good. Sit down.
No,
yeah.
I've never
Thank
met
you for
Chris.
having me.
Feel like I know you.
appreciate
I've
it.
seen you so many times.
Am I dressed okay for
You're
the show?
fine. No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
you
No,
look
I
great.
don't have anything in my closet that I think is noble enough to wear on this show. I am a huge fan of this show,
really?
and so is my wife. And
It's very nice.
so this is an honor, a thrill, and the most exciting thing that's happened in my life lately.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy. I
mean that sincerely.
I like a grateful guest, you know what I mean?
I mean it sincerely. I really do.
Now, you started working on David's show, huh?
Yeah, that's right. 1982, I actually started as a runner on the show,
Now,
making
when you say
$200 a week.
A runner. What does that mean when David said, coffee? Make it black? You ran.
And that's exactly the way he used to say it, too. It's amazing.
Where did you run to?
To the coffee machine and to the Xerox machine, and I screwed that up enough times so they made me a writer.
Well, you know, I mean, I do the same thing with Gelman. Little cream. No, I'm just kidding. I'm crying out
Now, is
loud.
Gelman 15 years old? How old is Gelman?
He was 15 when he started on our show. No, he's a little older than that.
He's a little older.
No, he's getting older and older every
There
day.
he is.
Yeah, there he is, right there.
There he is.
But so you had a meteoric rise, huh, from runner, and then how did you progress
what
on the
that
show
means.
into a writer?
Well, actually, the other writers, before I was a writer, were already putting me into little bits on the show. In fact, the first thing I did on Late Night was I modeled a big garbage suit. And it's funny because the night that show, you couldn't see my face, and the night that show was broadcast, there was a mess up in the tape room, and that portion of the show was blacked out.
Oh, great.
And so Dave had me on the next night in the same garbage suit, but this time you could see my face. And he asked me how disappointed I was from the night before, and I said terrible, and I had people in the audience, and he asked me,
Critics.
well, yeah, he asked critics. He asked me, you know, well, what did they say to you after your performance last night? And I said to him, well, they said it was the funniest thing they had seen in North America. And Dave laughed really hard at that.
He liked
that. And I knew right at that moment, well, if I can make Dave laugh,
which is a feat in
exactly,
itself. Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, especially the old Dave. the new Dave
Yeah.
is laughing all the time.
That's true.
Nobody's
Yeah.
happier than the new Dave.
Yeah, the phrase laughing
But the
all the
old
way to the
Dave,
bank
yes,
kind of comes to
the
mind.
old Dave was a tough one to make laugh.
That's
He
true.
has such a quirky sense of humor, and so do you. Do you think he was a big influence?
Oh,
on
he
you?
was. You know, I was thinking the other day when I got there, I was, I guess, 22. I don't think I had a sense of humor. I really don't think I did.
Very unfunny runner.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I took the coffee very seriously.
Sure, absolutely. That was your job.
It's not
but then you,
something to joke about.
You became a regular on the show, the panicky guy.
Right. Well, after these writers started putting me in, they started having me come out as the panicky guy, the conspiracy guy, and then they made me a writer, and then it was a lot easier because I just wrote myself into the show.
Sure, why not? Anytime you wanted to be on, you just wrote
That's right. That's right.
Now you started making little movies. I know you were...
Yeah, well,
We just watched you the other night, as a matter of fact, on Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was very
Funny,
funny, Chris.
funny.
You
Yeah,
had the camera guy.
I'm terrible in that movie.
No, but you had the camera guy down cold. That's
Well,
the way
that's
they
nice.
are.
Well, I spent about 3 years studying it.
And you perfected
I
it.
pinched a nerve carrying one of those cameras. These guys, I know. You know,
They're heavy.
a lot of respect for these guys carrying these things. They are heavy, and I pinched a nerve, and I didn't want to tell anybody because it was the first day of shooting, and I had to hold this camera like this, and I went home to the hotel and just sort of walked around like that, you know, for the whole time. And
Didn't want to break character.
Yeah, no, but a lot of cabs pulled up. In front of me. So they had to gut the camera for me. But yeah, I'm horrible in that movie, but it's a great movie. I think it's Bill Murray's.
Well,
best
so let's
movie.
talk about your new movie now, Cabin Boy.
Oh, you're a cupcake for bringing that up.
He is a cupcake, isn't he?
But it seems to me the plot is vaguely familiar, right?
It's familiar. It's somewhat similar to Captain's Courageous, which is an old favorite movie of mine, and it follows the story of a rather obnoxious brat who's graduates from
Rich, spoiled kid,
a rich
huh?
spoiled kid who graduates from a foppish finishing school, and he's sent to Hawaii to take over his father's business, and ends up getting on the wrong boat with a bunch of overweight.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah,
Not
well,
right rich,
yeah,
spoiled kid either.
foul-mouthed fisherman is what he ends up with.
So what do they make? They make him a menial.
Yeah, they say he has to stay with them, and he becomes the cabin boy, and they end up going into this sort of Bermuda Triangle area called Hell's Bucket, and there's all sorts of creatures that they
Really?
encounter.
Now, does this build character? Do you end up being a much better person for this
He
experience?
learns the truth of life from these,
Great, I love a message
from
movie,
these
don't
fat
you?
fishermen.
These
Yeah.
guys are that rough, huh?
That's right.
Well, let's take a look now at a clip, Chris Elliott being abused by
Yes.
this crew in
Yeah.
a scene from Cabin Boy, son of Captains Courageous.
Do-si-do. Now heel and toe.
What a bunch of lunkheads.
Trina! Oh, Trina, I'm so glad you decided to join us. I was just putting on a little show for the fellas here.
So this is what you guys do for fun? Yeah. Humiliate an imbecile? Sure, he's clumsy and he's stupid and he's a screw-up. But you don't have to treat him like an animal.
You know, Trina, it's funny you should mention screw-ups because about an hour ago I made the mistake of using your swimming diary to light the stove.
I've been keeping that diary for 15 years, you ape. Well, dance, boy, dance!
Gee, Chris, don't let your wife see that.
That's pretty much what life is like at my
Oh
household.
my God! You know, it just breaks me up.
Yeah, well,
But there's
it's-
something sad about it.
Well, it is. There's
She's
something
right.
very
You were a
sad.
human being. You can't be treated like an animal.
Well, I win her over towards the end of the
Oh,
movie.
I bet you
Sort
do.
of like Steve
Yes.
Martin's The Jerk, only
Yeah.
worse.
Well, I've been called that many times.
Not
so.
exactly something Cary Grant would turn
No.
down. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, it's, I guess I play kind of a cross between Freddie Bartholomew and Peter Lawford.
Yes.
I think that's the closest.
Good, I can see that.
Letterman has a cameo in this?
Yeah, Dave has a cameo. There's a lot of cameos. My dad has a cameo in it. Ricky Lake actually plays the figurehead of the boat that comes to life. And there's Russ Tamblyn, who is in West Side Story,
Sure.
actually plays Chalky, who's a half man, half shark. He's sort of the biological offspring of a relationship
Now-
that I don't want to go into. But
Now, Chris, I know what a problem it is to sell anything in Hollywood.
sure.
When you went with the treatment or the premise or whatever it was that you put down on a couple of pages, did you have trouble explaining
I
this?
can't type, Regis. A couple of
You just went
pages.
in and ad-libbed this to the studio heads? there?
Well, luckily, we didn't have to go into the guys in the suits. We had to go in and sit with Tim Burton, and
well.
because he produced the movie. And but it was interesting because we sat. Adam Resnick, who wrote with me on Late Night and created Get a Life with me, we went in and we spoke to Tim, and he sat there stone-faced throughout the whole thing. And
Trying to
I
visualize it.
started sweating and started, shaking uncontrollably. And then suddenly at the end, he was bouncing off the walls, literally, and taking a sketch pad and drawing what the
See?
six-armed woman should look like.
yes,
and-
you
and all
finally
that
got
stuff.
to him.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
yeah.
right guy for this kind of a
Yeah,
movie.
no, we knew that right away.
And so that's a Disney product, huh?
It's a, Disney Touchstone.
All right, terrific. Hey, good luck with it,
thanks a
okay?
lot, Regis.
You betcha, Chris.
Nice meeting you.
Cabin Boy, opening today all around America. We'll be right back in a moment.
Thursday on Live, actor Harry Hamlin